We are back with some more demand delivered talk. I have the Zaire with Iron Horse, and this is Ben. Today, we're going to dive into more of an ABM chat. We have a few topics to cover. I know a lot about ABM. I learned a lot from Zaire during my time at Iron Horse, and even beyond during my time at Uberflip. I counseled a lot of different marketers around their ABM tech stack, go to market, and all of the fun stages and accoutrement. But the big issue that we're starting to see, especially around 2023 and through today, is it's become super complicated. ABM is three letters, but it feels like a four-letter word sometimes because marketers know, right? You have to get your content together, you have to get your personas together, you have to get your measurement together, and then is your sales team aligned? Do they believe in it? Should ABM be this complicated?
What you're saying is, should ABM be a four-letter word? Is what you're asking, right?
Right.
I mean, I think first of all, I've been talking about this for a long time. I think the whole M in ABM is just shitty. Like, it's not account-based marketing. There's nothing marketing about it. Marketing is a component. It's really, people are calling it GTM and ABX, and to me, it's all growth. It's a growth strategy. Like, what are you doing, and how are you working as a holistic organization to enable that to happen? So that to me is a fundamental thinking shift that needs to happen. And the organizations that I think do that do relatively well. And the ones that are stuck in marketing versus sales struggle. I think some stat I saw was that 75 to 80% of all ABM projects fail.
Well,
that's crazy. That feels
right. But it feels right. It feels accurate. Yeah.
But the ones that succeed are ridiculously successful. So what is it that's complicated? I think you hit on a lot of things. I think that the notion that is there fundamentally is, one, when I go in, I buy usually a platform, like a demand base, 6 Sense or whatever, really good platforms. But the platform is this amorphous beast that can do a lot of things. And oftentimes I go in by saying, oh, I just bought it, plug, play, start, and it should happen. No, never happened, right? Oh, no. It never happened for marketing operations. You needed a lot of support to enable it. Never happened for CRMs. You need a lot of support to enable it. But for some magical reason, something that is a more integrated orchestration layer like an ABM platform, we believe we can just plug it in, press a button, and go. So I think there's a fundamental, that's a big gap.
And there is a lot of taxonomy that goes into building the platform in the correct way, indexing the content, indexing the ICP, indexing the personas. And I think you nailed it on launching ABM. It's really taking the M out of it. I've seen so many orgs where the platform becomes the single source of truth for marketing. And then sellers are like, what is this? These aren't sales ready accounts or leads or whatever you think they are. These people are at the bottom of the hill. You didn't get alignment with me. And I would agree. What I'm seeing is the orgs that have done it very well, like the Snowflakes of the world, they had called it, ABX or something else during either the initial launch or the second or third time it finally took. So that kind of brings me to my next point, right? If you're going to deploy ABM, things that you need to nail are plentiful. There's so many points of failure. But one thing that you really have to agree on with your sellers is getting alignment around your ICP, your ideal customer persona, right? And what that definition is. How do you get it right? Where do you start?
Oh, the simple answer is it's Fortune 2000 companies, Ben. I mean, that's the answer.
You're just ready to buy it.
Who's your target? I mean, come on, we know the answer, Ben. Like, why?
Of course.
Hard things. We're smart. We have amazing tools now. We have amazing data and insight. And talk to each other, right? It generally is something that gets, everything from a salesperson saying, yeah, these are the 50 accounts I want to go after, hence I want to go after these 50 accounts, and that becomes a list of 500 or 2,000 or whatever it is, to a CRO and saying, we only sell to the enterprise, so we're going to go after Fortune 2000 companies. Or you go take a firmographic demographic exercise to say, I go after these people. And the answer is none of those are wrong, but it's a compilation of those things. And if we just sat down with sales and marketing to say, who do we go after? Where have we seen success?
Yeah.
Where have we seen failure? And build upon that, and then layer in intent, which we have abundance of now. It allows us to sort of, one, collectively say, yep, this is where we're going to prioritize. Doesn't mean you don't want to go other places, but when your ICP persona stuff and your target account lists are just so massive, you can't talk to anyone properly. So I think beyond just nailing the audience part and getting alignment, I think one of the biggest benefits of it is you can now deliver a cohesive conversation arc with those people because you're focused. And if you do that right, you'll be able to deliver an engagement path, an account-based engagement path for those accounts because you sort of know what you want to do with them. And absent that, it's just really messy. And kind of the simple thing there is it's so worth slowing down a little bit to kind of come together on your ICP and persona as sales and marketing teams using intent. Because if you do that, you can go so much faster later on. And vice versa, if you don't do it, you're just going to be pointing fingers all the way through.
Well, and you're mentioning kind of three distinct groups of tech that get tossed around, especially on the enterprise side. We're not even talking about small startups and small businesses. You're talking about intent. You're talking about the CRM, looking at won deals or lost deals even. And then there's also like the CDP. So which one is the source of truth, or how do you stack rank? Where do we start?
Well, I think your CRM has history to build from. So that's your starting point.
Okay.
Your intent allows you to layer in information based on who you want to go after. Say, okay, off these 1,000 companies, these seem to be signaling more. So instead of spending, if I had $1,000 to spend, spending $1,000 and dollar each on these 1,000 companies, since these 300 are showing some level of pulse, I'm going to spend $1,000 or 800 of my dollars on these 300 companies and 200 on the rest, so that I have a higher chance of getting more engagement with the accounts that matter in market today. And then CDP is a really cool scenario because I think that's the reason for people using demand bases, 6 Sense, Twilios, Common Roots of the world as an orchestration layer. Because now that I have that information, I want to be able to share it with everything where I'm starting to activate. So I don't think it's a either or, it's an and. Okay. But it's a connected and. Like, I don't think these systems truly need to be connected for it to be functionally impactful.
Okay, so kind of play it back. It's CRM, that's your source of truth. Has the historical sales records, totally makes sense. Yep. That's also how you get seller buy-in, right? Because it's like, hey, these are your deals. You think these are good. This is where the revenue is. Layer that with some intent. We'll get to that in a second. And then your CDP is kind of like some gravy on top, where you can also, do some ETL here. You can do some enrichment there. You can really
CDP allows you to sort of activate, right? So one is sort of, what am I doing? And then actually doing. The CDP enables the doing part, I think, because it's allowing you to share your audience data, your ICP data, your persona data across paid social channels, across programmatic display, content syndication, whatever else you're doing. Hopefully, if you do that right and you're running an ABM motion, you can get closer to having a unified account conversation across all different touch points, right? It's not easy, but if you don't have a CDP, you don't stand a chance.
All right, but for purposes of this discussion, everything is easy because now we have AI.
Easy, right? The easy button.
Fell right into my trap. I want to talk about leveraging intent with AI across these systems. Everything I've read, just like going after those 2,000 accounts, Gen AI is going to save it all. It's super easy now. I can just hit a button. I don't need a full team anymore. I'm doing more with less. How does that actually work from what you're seeing?
Yeah, I mean, to me, I think there's a couple of incredible places for AI helping us. I think, to me, account research is incredible. Being able to get dossiers done, being able to prepare for sales meetings, being able to prepare for any kind of discussions, being able to sort of either throw that into a notebook LM and having it sort of answer questions, to generating a deep research report on a market that you're going after, so you're intelligent, to, everything is happening. A couple of interesting areas where we've done some cool stuff. We did some experimentation on AI SDR. So kind of truly using, kind of a Gen AI based model framework to act as an SDR. Got some interesting kind of learnings. Our open rates were way higher. It took good 60, 70 days to get that to happen, but it started working. So you'd still need to invest in it. And that technology is moving really fast. So I think we'll see a lot of cool stuff in the outreach side.
Yeah.
The area that I think is phenomenal and you're seeing traction in the market today are companies like Clay and Common Room.
Completely.
So, and the notion that I think that you and I were chatting about earlier was majority of the insight into what's happening is sitting in unstructured data. Yet the only things that us marketing and salespeople know how to use are demographics, firmographics, and technographics. Everyone's using the same exact tooling, right? Yeah. And so if you sort of go beyond it, I've seen terms like exographics and other terms being used, but it really is, what are those other factors that if you knew would help you figure out that there is the right opportunity? So I was talking to a large financial services company and they're going into a new market. And the notion was like, what are things that you can be thinking about? So one idea was, wouldn't it be cool instead of saying, hey, my ICP for commercial is $1 billion or less, is to say, I want to look for companies that have a very fast growing finance or accounting function.
Yeah, exactly.
That's pretty cool. I could never find that information prior, but I can collate that and use it as a structured input now going forward.
I completely do. And I don't mean to make a commercial for Clay, but this is exactly how I use it. I had locked my sellers in a room to define the ICP and then said, okay, now tell me what signals you look for that you have to find out during disco. I literally now put those in Clay, augment the data, and import them to the CDP for outreach. It feels like cheating, but sellers don't think like this, and I feel like it is our role as marketers to say, hey, we have this data now to make your life easier.
It's still not a common thinking process because we've gotten so used to the structure that going to unstructured feels not normal.
Yeah,
right?
You have to validate.
So I think it's a muscle that we'll have to build. But if you, the example I use similar to you is like if you had the magic wand and you could find out 3 things you wanted to know, what would they be? And you may not be able to get all those 3 things, right? But getting people to think like that, I think is a really cool exercise. And I think that unlock will only get better and better and better. And then once I have that information from Clay, I can create an audience in Common Room as a CDP, as an orchestration layer, and share it everywhere, right?
Yeah.
So
awesome.
I think it'll be pretty interesting to see how that changes sort of the marketing tech stack going forward.
Yeah, I'd love to talk to some more marketers going through this right now too. So more to come on this.